First of all, I'll read a fire drill notice. Please note that there's no planned fire alarm test during this meeting. If the fire alarm go off, we ask that you exit the building calmly and quickly using the stairway. Please avoid the lift. And before we begin the meeting, is there anybody who needs assistance to leave the building should the fire alarm be activated? If so, the designated fire marshal will guide you to the refuse point and wait rescue by the fire services. And if you could please turn your mobile phones onto silent, please. Prayers. So I'm going to say a prayer for Christmas as we're so close now. Dear God, thank you for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ, whose birth in Bethlehem brings light to the world. As we celebrate this Christmas, fill our hearts with peace and joy, and help us remember the true meaning of Christmas, love, hope, and generosity. Guide us to show compassion to those in need, to comfort the lonely, and to love our neighbours. Please bless the families, people, and homes in our town this Christmas. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So, to receive apologies for absence. Do you have any?
Received apologies from Councillor Edwards and Councillor Elevate and Braithwaite are absent.
So, any declarations of interest by members about any items on the agenda? No? Right, to receive and agree the minutes of the ordinary full council meeting held on Wednesday, the 12th of November, and the extraordinary meeting held on Wednesday, the 26th of November. Has everybody read the minutes? And are you happy to accept them? The show of hands?
No, I was showing my hand before you were asked to. Minute 153. It says that that we were in favour of modern. Can't find it now. It was a unanimous agreed. No, in the preamble, acknowledge that councillors were in favour of a modern approach to advertising and communication. I think that's a little stretching a little bit, because I did object on the ground that it wasn't in keeping with the conservation area, and that we'd had 2 applications from BT for a similar sort of display that we kicked out because it wasn't in keeping. So I don't think that that minute actually reflects.
So I'll take out the unanimously and say discussion.
Yeah, it wasn't voted on, was it? That particular.
No, you all agreed to defer it to the next.
Well, we defer it. I don't mind deferring it, but
Yeah, okay.
it's what's said
Some
there.
councillors were in favour.
Yeah.
Some councillors might be in favour,
Yeah.
others
okay,
weren't.
right, yeah.
Thanks, John. So to receive reports from Norfolk County Council, so we haven't had anything. Yeah, Jacob, did you want to just do a quick update on devolution?
Yeah, as William's not here, just in case you haven't seen. So obviously the government been planning to introduce an elected mayor for Norfolk and Suffolk, and scheduled elections for this coming May 2026. For some reason, they've changed their mind about the date of the election and postponed it to May 2028. They've said that this is for LGR, local government reorganisation, to be completed first. But obviously that was the case when they set the election date in the first place. So what's changed between that, apart from the opinion polls, I'm not sure. But so they've delayed that until May 2028, which means that any funding that would have gone to the mayor from government presumably then won't be devolved until then either. And just to add that the leader of Wrexham Council and a number of other local councils have written a joint letter to the Minister for Local Government opposing it.
Opposing it.
Yeah. It's like,
What's going on, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know if you know, Jacob, but what's happening about the county council? Are they having elections this year?
So at the moment, we believe the county council elections are going ahead in May.
There's been rumoured that they're not going to go ahead, wasn't it? So we don't really.
Yeah, I think I've caught in something from the leader of county saying that she'd asked the government for confirmation of that. And I don't believe they've said anything to the contrary. But then again, the mayoral election candidates were selected, campaigning started by all the parties, and then they've got and cancelled it. So who knows?
John,
Watch this space.
Going off that subject, I've been annoyed really. Councillor Nunn gives us a huge, great report, usually, not this month, thank God. And it's full of stuff that's all about the county and nothing that pertains to Swaffham. Now, our district councillors, actually, their reports always mention Swaffham and what they're doing for Swaffham. Councillor Nunn, I see nothing in there that is about Swaffham in his report, which just looks like a party political broadcast to me on behalf of the Norfolk County Council and representing the council to us instead of the other way round, where he should be representing Swaffham to the county council and looking after our corner. So if that message can get through to him, I'm sick and tired of the long diatribes he writes
just ask
with
them.
nothing pertaining
I mean,
to
it's
Swaffham.
interesting to know what's going on, but if we could have a little bit that is perhaps specific to Swaffham, if there is anything.
Well, the Norfolk County Council produce every quarter, like Bretton do, a news sheet that's got enough in there to tell us what the county council's doing.
Okay, any other questions on Norfolk County Council? No? So moving on to Brecon District Council. If any councillors or members of the public have got any questions for our district councillors, we've got all three of them in the room this evening. Oh, I'll just ask you then about the old school.
I didn't want it because last time. I didn't think it would end up there.
Liddles.
Littles.
Okay. I won't tell you about Lidl's. Lidl's, like the majority of supermarkets, and those of you who were involved some years ago when Tesco's applied, it took forever. And Lidl's, the same as in Dereham, I was on planning when the one for Lidl's came to planning for Dereham. That also took very, very long time. And it'll come to planning and it'll get deferred because there's a lot of consultees that they require more documentation on, from LLFI, environmental, all sorts of consultees and policies that have to be checked and rechecked before it will come back to planning and either be agreed or disagreed. And that's what's happening with Lidl. So it is, I know everybody wants it and we all want it to happen tomorrow, but there's a huge amount to consider. Highways being at the top and flooding being the second one. And regards to the old Hammond School, and it seems that it doesn't matter where I go in Norfolk, somebody asks me about the old Hammond School. I know, and it just is. Somebody yesterday in Dereham said, well, what's happening, you know? Be assured that every other week, at least, I have a conversation with either developer and B, Breckland, both enforcement and listed building. There is a dialogue, all the discharge conditions, if you look on the portal, they're all listed in there, and there is a dialogue going on and there's been site visits. So I know it's slow, but it is trickling, at least it's trickling.
Yes. Could I ask you about the sports centre? Walker was supposed to come in November and talk to our committee about it, wasn't it? It was. And that hasn't happened. So could we have an update on what's happening?
Yes, well, yes and no, really. I mean, nothing is happening. Well, not saying nothing is happening, that's not true. But I had an exchange of emails with Rob Walker today, and we are waiting for a meeting, another meeting with the school, the trust and Breckland and architects to discuss the art of the possible and to review plans. which is as vague as you could possibly get it. I'm sorry, it's not more positive in terms of detail, but that I chased up today, Rob Walker, and he responded immediately with this email. So that's all I can tell you at the moment.
I mean, we were concerned that it wasn't big enough for a growing town and they should have sorted something else out, but it's disconcerting that we haven't heard anything and time's getting on.
I agree. I agree.
I think we should probably write to Rob Walker and get an update on what's going on.
Get another
As a matter
meeting.
of
We'd like
urgency,
to
yeah.
see him again.
Because he did say, yeah, he did, yeah, pretty soon in the new year,
Yeah.
so. go on.
Yeah, there's nothing specific in the present local plan review
Same.
about sports and leisure
Nothing.
facilities for Swaffham, oriented towards Swaffham. And I noticed the other day that Attleborough are getting a big, huge amount of money from the new sports centre.
Saw that.
And leisure
We
centre.
always miss out.
We're missing out. And as we're going to be taking something like 3,500 new houses over the next 20 years, you know, how are we going to accommodate that in this town with its poor offering?
I will just say, I know obviously it's frustrating seeing other towns, you know, get these things, you know, Fakenham's had getting a swimming pool. So Attleborough, you mentioned like the housing growth that might be proposed for Swaffham. It's that housing growth that they've already had in Attleborough, where they've had very significant Section 106, which has paid for a large part of the new leisure in Attleborough. So it's primarily been funded from Section 106.
Funding,
opposed to
yeah, the funding model is.
direct funding.
For this, isn't it? So, and we were promised a meeting, weren't we, in
But that,
November, so.
coming back to you, that's why it needs to be in the local plan now. Doesn't it? I mean, Jacob, why you mentioned in the local plan that this is important infrastructure for this town that needs to be thought of when you're giving all these sites away that are going to be cheap as chips. Well, they're not, chips aren't cheap, but cheap as bananas, I suppose. But these developers are going to just walk all over us, give us hardly anything to our infrastructure, and it needs to be in the local plan now.
I mean, so obviously that's something to feed into the local plan consultation process.
Yeah.
So I know that there is Section 106 money from one of the Able developments that is for the new Ables development that's going up. So there will be Section 106 money for sport and leisure in that. You know, quite a significant amount, I believe. But that's obviously that development is still in its early stages. And obviously a big spanner in the works has been with the piece of land up on Turbine Way was the Padley planning application, because obviously they were going to help out with access to that site. So that has thrown a big spanner in the works.
You put on a reply, because I went with Les to local plan consultation last week. So the council can add that about sport and leisure into their reply.
Okay, any other questions?
Well, the 106 money is very important, obviously, to any large scale project. But we've also got to bear in mind, we've still got £700,000 tied up with Breckland, which is a substantial amount, which we need to be using for something or other. No, surely that can be answered simply.
Believe me, Breckland want to do something with that money before it's out of our hands.
Absolutely.
You know, it's sort of, we've got that money, but whether it's quite enough to do, you know, it's not enough to build a leisure centre, is it? But it's whether if we can scope out other projects and get other funding from other sources and sort of bring that together. But yes, there is 106 money from the new Ables estate to add to that pot. I haven't got this precise details, but that's not money that's been received yet or will be received for.
I just think it's very important that you keep the council informed, whether you do it through our clerk or who you do it, because, you know, we're the people that are on the ground putting up with questions from the public and what's actually happening here. You know, they come to Swaffham, there's nothing to do. And if you could just keep us updated, we'd be grateful. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if Judy or Jake, but land allocation is what they're going out for comments on at the moment, aren't they? And we did suggest 2 or 3 sites within Swaffham that could be leisure sites. So have they taken any notice of that at all, or is it too early to tell?
They're still gathering all the, obviously the consultation goes on until the 15th of December, which is next Monday. So once, I mean, when Les and I went last week, there was queues of people from villages and all sorts of places, you know, each asking their own individual questions.
Yes.
So that has all got to be analysed for the local plan, and it won't be the last attempt that you'll have for another consultation. They will gather all that for Regulation 18, and then there will be, you know, yet another consultation.
Yes, yeah, Dave.
Just briefly, I just want to reassure everybody that that £700,000 is ring fence, as you said, but it is ring fence for sport and leisure. So it cannot be used for anything else. Okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Judy had said, that when we went the other evening, I asked the question why our comments that we put in as a response previously to the call for sites hadn't been put on the site, and she said it was probably because we were late getting them in, but she had read them.
Right, okay.
So,
Awesome.
and I would propose, I mean, later on in the agenda, there's a bit about where I shall speak. But I wanted to say that I would propose sending our responses in again that we sent in before, to make sure that they go on the site this time. And the other thing I wanted to say was one of those sites that we favoured for a possible sport and leisure site to the west of the Ecotech.
Yeah.
I have actually been in contact with the agent for that and awaiting a response. But how that all fits in, I mean, I think I would like to add that in to our response, that we're having this dialogue as a possibility.
Right, any other questions? No, all right, and anything from the police?
no.
No, okay. Right, so the next one is public forum. So if any members of the public wish to say anything, is that so? Anybody? Right, so to receive reports from me, it's this month, so Monday the 24th of November. I was invited to the new offices of Caring Together charity. Judy was there as well. At Beacon House, Turbine Way, Swaffham. And this charity supports the many unpaid carers in Norfolk, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, who look after people with severe disabilities or illness. And I think I gave some bits of paperwork to the office. So if anybody's interested, you can contact the office for those. And I think Nicola was going to put something on the website, basically, but they're doing some fantastic work there to support people who haven't got anyone else to turn to. Wednesday, the 26th of November, I attended the American Air Base service of Thanksgiving at Ely Cathedral, accompanied by Councillor Darby, and that was a lovely evening. Sunday, the 30th of November, obviously, I helped all day with the Christmas festival, and it was lovely to see so many smiling faces and happy children. We were very lucky with the weather. Grateful thanks to Helen's team in the office, especially to Nicola, who went well above the call of duty, didn't she, bless her? She worked so hard to make the event a success, and also to Ryan's team for going the extra mile, setting up and dismantling everything. And I know it was exceptionally hard work and a very long day for everybody, wasn't it? And also thanks to those councillors who gave their time to help out on the day. Thanks to the Father Christmas, the Fountain of Life, to Nigel Tufnell, the Vicar of Swaffham, He put on a fantastic carol service for the children. And have I left anybody out? Anyway, the town really looks fantastic this year, I think. So thank you to everybody that helped to organise with that event. Oh, thanks to Les Elmer for switching on the lights and to
Yeah.
Charlie's two children for help. Sunday, the 7th of December, I attended the Swaffham Lions Christmas lunch at the Nicholas Hammond Academy. This was the 30th Christmas lunch that they've produced by the older residents of the town. They do fantastic work serving the community and raising money for charity. So good for them and good for the dinner ladies as well, who gave their time up, didn't they? They gave their time up to put the meals and do all the washing up, which was quite a task for 85 people, but they did very well. Thanks to all of them. Okay, that's my report. Now the town clerk's report. I think you've all had my report. Okay, yeah. Any questions?
Anything?
Okay, music.
All the vehicles all right?
Yes,
Everyone
the
happy with
vehicles
them?
are fine. We picked one up yesterday and then one's been gone in the decal and the others coming in, should be back this week. So yeah, all good.
Smart, don't they? Now, have you got anything from the museum? Museum report.
I've got a museum report. So do we have a museum report twice?
That's on
No,
the.
no.
No,
I'm
no,
not going
nothing.
to do one every
Oh,
month.
that was,
No.
that's from last time.
Yeah.
Right, to receive and consider any late or urgent items. We had any one. But. Right, so.
Moving to new screen.
Right, okay, we'll put that into the capital bid, shall we? Right, to discuss and consider correspondence received.
I think you've had everything. We send it out daily. So I think there's some more came in today about the Christmas feedback, so it's good. Nicola has put some feedback forms out on everyone's desk. They're all online. There'll be paper copies available everywhere. And we can just gather some information really and feedback.
Okay. So 172, to consider granting honorary citizenship to Fabian Eagle. So I'll just say a few words about this one, because I think perhaps some of you don't, sorry.
No, do you want to say yours first? Your words?
Yeah.
Then I'll be able to say.
So I do understand that some of the new councillors perhaps don't know Fabian very well, or the work that he's done over the years. I'm just going to quickly recap on that. In his role as Norfolk County Councillor and Cabinet Member for Economic Growth, Fabian has made a remarkable contribution to the market towns, to all the market towns in Breckland, including Swaffham, helping them not only to survive but to thrive. And the impact of his work in Swaffham, especially our market, is exceptional. From High Streets Matter, Love Your Market, Pride of Place, and Retail Excellence initiatives, they're all driven by Fabian's commitment, rural business experience. The specialist knowledge of disease and infection control proved invaluable during the COVID-19 lockdowns, helping our market to win national recognition and many awards. It was fantastic. As other markets were deteriorating, ours was improving and growing. So on the 14th of December, that marks his 40th anniversary as an auctioneer in Swaffham. His first auction was 40 years ago in our historic market town. To mark his contribution to our town, we would like to honour Fabian with an honorary citizen award. And this award will recognise the decades of dedication and leadership and service to Swaffham that he's given over the years. So, good to you.
Yeah, I was just going to repeat what you said, having known Fabian a long time, and particularly the market, because without what he did during COVID, we wouldn't have had that market. And, you know, his heart has been in Swaffham. He's always got brilliant ideas. He follows them through. So that is so well deserved for Fabian.
You know.
Right, so I propose that we award Fabian the honorary citizen award. So that's what I'm
I think you
proposing.
all agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So hoping he might be here to receive it. It's obviously got something else to do. 173, to consider capital project expenditure recommendations from the budget working group. So there are a number down here. Do we want to add Christmas lights onto these, or is that really separate?
Yes, we could do, yes, I mean, that would come up in the budget really.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be capital because they're not permanent really, although they are, they're not, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, they don't come as.
I'd have to double check that, So this is what I was asked to do from the budget working group, so you have a list, I think Bob. Do you want me to put them up or?
It says for the cemetery roads, we've got 35,000, but we're waiting quotes from other.
So
people.
that was a quote you had from 2023 and we've added on the RPI for that. So we have contacted a couple of others, but things take time, you know, you don't just, can't just get them. So yeah, so that was the cemetery roads, which we do get a lot of complaints about. The cemetery barrier, this would stop, we have a lot of parents parking in the cemetery, closing at school turn off time, and if we've got a funeral, doesn't look good, we have to go up there and get them moved, which isn't good. We have spoke to the school, but obviously they can only do so much. If we know there's a funeral, we do put orange barriers out, but again, that's, we'll move them. So that's why we looked at the barrier. The storage unit at the cemetery, that came about because well, it's security for a start, and we haven't really got anywhere secure, have we, Bob? Bob's been round with the boys and had a look at all these.
There's no, you've just got an old rundown shed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So really, you need secure container to put all your bits and pieces. And the road, the surface is quite poor. I don't know if anybody's been to the service quite recently. It's not really, if you've been visiting some graves, it's not very good, is it? And the barrier for some sort of security, because you know we have a lot of gear in there, really needs to be protected.
we have had comments from members of the public saying, why is the cemetery not barriered? Most cemeteries in Norfolk are barriered and they have a turn off at night, so
Right, so what you want us to do with this?
well, this came up from the budget work group. I think Bob was going to lead on this. The Skag ride on mower is something that the lads said that they needed before.
Well, do you want me to talk about the glutton
Yeah, please.
machine? We had a demonstration with a glutton machine the other day. That's a sort of a modern, a modern car. Now, you know, what we used to, the sweep used to sweep the road, but now it's a machine that we drag along, and it's got a jet wash on it, and you can wash chewing gum off and things like that, and you can pick leaves up, cigarette butts, and it's just a modern day sweep, really. And also proposed is to have a street cleaner, because Brickland, they pop in now and again, a few hours a week with their glutton machine, sweep a little bit here and there, but that's not really enough. We should take charge ourselves when it comes to cleaning the town. And me and Jen and Dave, we've been around the town, and we had a meeting with Serco, didn't we? And they actually came round and done a little splash and dash for our benefit, didn't they?
In the morning, but it wasn't good enough.
And but at the end of the day, it brings the street cleaning into our hands, and we decide when the streets are clean where they need, you know, to be cleaned, and where they don't need to be cleaned, really. So, you know, and it also brings, when the toilets are remodernised, maybe the shop, what's it called? That could become what's the market inspector. That could be his office, and also it could be the street cleaner's office, and they can clean the toilets
the street cleaner will be responsible for cleaning the toilets, which was, well, how much was that? £600 a month? We're paying.
Yeah, yeah, so at the moment, because of our contracts, we can only work certain hours, so if you wanted a caretaker for the evening, we'd have to rework a contract or, which is, you know, a long process, because you'd have to get someone to agree to the change of contract, and I don't think anyone would want to do that at the moment. So you'd have to bring in a new member of staff who could be street cleaner and possibly caretaker. So you could have someone to do the toilets later on in the evening. At the moment, they're being shut before. They are working well. We've had,
So when it comes to the street cleaner,
We have had problems.
we've not had any
Not had
problems, so
We have.
well, when it comes to the street cleaner, you need two, because you've got to cover 7 days.
Yeah.
we'd have a,
You
we'd
need-
have a job share
Yeah,
there.
you have a job share, so, you know, they would be responsible for the toilets as well as the street cleaning.
Yeah.
And they would clean your bins and your street signs and everything.
Mm.
And if they need to go somewhere else, like the Theatre Street car park, they just moved on somewhere else.
Yeah. Brilliant idea.
But I'm not quite sure how much we pay Serco. Do we pay Bregland? We don't pay any money for them at all. So that they could continue to empty the bins and carry on as normal, couldn't they? But we still have our street cleaner.
Are we allowed to take over the street cleaning? Just out of interest, and how far will the street cleaning go? Will it cover all of Swaffham or just town centre or?
That would be what we'd have to look into
Yeah.
then, you know. Can't see why you can't. I mean, we're responsible for
Yeah,
cleaning the markets and
yeah, it makes sense.
stuff. I mean, we'd get permission from highways on certain bits, but I don't think they'd mind at all.
It'll be a case of that, yeah, you're not going to have to wait. We can just go do it, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, the situation is now that, you know, Serco, they probably come 2-3 hours a day, 3 times a week.
Mm.
And they use their little hoover and they bring the lorry
Yeah,
and sweep
that's
up.
it.
So if they go at 11 o'clock and someone drops rubbish,
Mm.
that's laying on the road for another week.
Yeah.
So that means when you walk around the town, you're seeing the same rubbish.
Yeah.
Was laying around the town for days on end. That's not acceptable, really, is it?
No.
I'm quite happy for us to buy the vacuum cleaner or whatever you want to call it. Well, geez, well, cheap vacuum cleaner. I'm quite happy for us to get that. But, you know, we're adding yet another person to our wages bill, and that's got to be revenue. And you don't only have the payment, the pay, you've got the pension and the national insurance and everything else that goes with that, which would be on our revenue part of it. And I'm not sure whether, you know, we can afford to do that, because you're
I mean,
probably talking about £30,000 a year, roughly. In that,
26, I sit down roughly. But
there
what we could do is,
Unless you volunteer, Paul.
I'm going to volunteer.
But you're quite happy to have a dirty town.
Yeah. That's not what I'm saying, Bob. I'm saying that there's a consideration that's got to be taken to our budget and our revenue. We're one of the highest in the whole of the district at the moment.
yeah,
When the new authorities come in, we're going to have to pick up, and we will have a higher tax burden right across the whole of the district once when that comes in, which is going to be, I don't know how much, because we're at one of the lowest in this area. We will go up and we'll have to have an even one across the whole of the regions, or the, whatever you want to call them, they're going to call them new districts.
I mean, what we got,
You know, there's going to be a massive jump,
the
and
boys
people
do,
are going to have to pay that.
yeah, the boys do about an hour of litter picking in the morning, so they could use that and it would be quicker. That's something to think about.
That makes.
I'm quite happy with the cleaner, but I'm not. With the thing, it needs a
With the staff.
really serious thinking about the extra staff and costs involved if we get somebody full time.
I'm generally in favour of increasing what we do ourselves in the town. And I think I noted that on our budget for next year, we've got the option of not increasing it. It'd be interesting to see, well,
Can increase it.
a modest increase, how much that would pay for.
Yeah, like this, I'm in favour of doing something like this. I think it ought to cover the whole town. I can't see much point in buying the machine if you're not going to have the operatives to
That's
use
our
it
choice.
to its full
Yeah.
potential.
That's our choice.
It's no point, is there? So I think we've got to bite the bullet here. Could we find out from Bretland Council how much the quantum of what they pay Serco to do our bit of town, and say, don't send that to Serco, send it to us. So I think that would give us a bit of bunts, and we'd obviously have to find the rest to for these operatives.
That's what I was going to say, actually, because we might be able
Yeah.
to get some money towards the street clean. I mean, years ago, every town had their own.
I don't know if they'd give it up to you because that's their contract is with, that's nothing to do with us. So contracting between Bretland and Serco. What do you think? Jacob's looking there.
I think, as you say, it's commercially sensitive. obviously.
It's sensitive, yeah, track.
Also, I mean, it's like with the car parks where Bretland wasn't necessarily able to say what business rates were for a particular car park because it's levied on everything. It's one big contract with Serco, I'd have thought, but yeah, as I say, on their part, I'd have thought it'd be commercially sensitive.
Les is waiting to come in.
No,
Oh, Jill, yeah. Yes, I mean, I agree with the machine. But I don't agree with having anybody specific to do it, because I don't think we will start giving up Serco or even, including Serco. I mean, I don't know, how dirty is the town?
We wouldn't be giving up Serco because we wouldn't be giving up Serco because that's contracts with Bretland, so that would happen anyway. We would do that as an
So the
addition.
machine would be very useful for the boys, would it?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
Speed up their work.
Well, you saw it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
actually.
at the end of the day, if you could buy a machine and you're using the boys to use it for 1 hour a week. So you're buying a 20 grand machine for someone to use it 1 hour per day or 1 hour per week. You pay this 7,200 you used to pay to the cleaner, the toilet, to clean the toilet. So there's 7,200. What can go towards it. That's half of it. There's nearly half of one cleaner. Isn't it?
Costs involved with the toilet cleaning and whatever, because I've got 7,200.
But we having to do it ourselves at the moment. So the boys are doing
time.
that. So that's their time, yeah, at the moment. Yeah.
Any more savings? Paying up the toilets that we could fire over to this.
No, just the cost, the
So
cost
it's
of the clean.
7,200 that we're paying the contractor.
Yeah.
£600 a week.
See, a couple of months ago, I spent the day with Ryan. And believe me, what have I seen these guys do? They haven't got time to go around picking up a little few bits of litter for an hour here and an hour there with a 20 grand piece of machine. If you're going to spend 20 grand on a piece of machinery, you need the people to work it, and you need the people to clean the town. It's not point having a machine sitting in a shed. You can get someone to go around an hour a day.
And you could have your toilets open a bit later. We looked at a few toilets in Norfolk. So in the winter hours, they're open till 6. And in the summer hours, they're open till 8. So that person, then you could have them, you could hopefully have a contract. So they could clean in the afternoon and then do the toilets, and you could have a job share. So because we've got contracts with our working hours in, we would have to do a big consultation to change our working hours if somebody wanted to do it. And I personally don't want to do that. So that's why Bob says bring in a new person on a new contract. That doesn't have to be full time. That could do the glutton and the caretaking of the toilets, possibly. That's just an option.
I'm still, I think, you talk about the toilets, please, 7,000 odd, you rate this costing us now. We're talking about improving them and making more, so that the cost of that's going to go up as well.
you know, as well, you talk about those things, if there's nothing, but if you improve the toilets, you get extra toilets, so the price of the maintenance of that is going to go up. There's going to be a bigger cost to that. And I can remember when we was paid about 20-odd thousand pound a year to maintain the toilets, and we managed to get that down by reducing them. I think we went too far in that direction, but there's a happy medium. I'm sure there is, but you know, there's going to be a cost there as well, you know, and all these things are adding and adding and adding all the time. And what worries me is the amount that people are going to have to start paying for these things. Do we want, if the people want them, fair enough, let them say they want them. But
what we can say is that this person doesn't need to be full-time.
no,
You could
perhaps
have
not.
somebody from, 5 hours a day, so they do the glutton in the afternoon and then do the toilets. It's just an option at the moment.
You know,
That's
what about weekends? You thought,
yeah, that's
somebody went
jobs here.
that's why you'd probably have a job share, so
Yeah.
you could,
Right.
so it's
We
covered
have-
7 days.
I'm coming in now. We have got to be progressive. We've got to remember this town is twice the size it was back in the 70s, and obviously more footfall, more rubbish. And the other thing is, of course, as the town grows, the rate of income that we get as a proportion also goes up, so there is more money to keep doing these jobs.
window.
okay.
It's that, it's not screen, it's that.
It's.
Can we add to our expenses list that
No.
get this sorted?
Absolutely not, no.
Right, so what's the next thing to do with this then?
You've got your,
Oh, sorry, Wendy.
Yeah, look, we need to take pride in our town.
Yes,
There's
yes,
lot
well
of
done,
complaints.
Yeah.
We want to have
Absolutely.
our town looking the best. We want the best flowers, the cleanest town.
We do.
So when the visitors come,
Exactly.
they go, what a lovely clean
And we'll
town.
come back.
That comes at a cost, but that may attract more visitors and keep the town nice. And like you say, with more people, more rates,
Yeah.
we've got to move forward.
Well done.
Well
Thank
done.
you,
Oh,
Martin.
brilliant. I think brilliant.
As well for them to go,
Yes,
so because
yeah.
they could have a move back, we haven't got
Yeah.
toilets for them to go to. Bob, did you?
So can we propose that?
Yeah.
We propose all this
individually,
individually.
Okay, so the cemetery roads resurfacing at 35,000 approximately.
I can get better quotes and we can
Yeah, do
move,
that separately.
so we,
That needs doing, don't it? It needs doing.
yeah.
Right,
It's an eyesore.
Right.
I haven't been there, haven't you?
the cemetery road, I mean, it's 35,000 there. We'll get all sorts of, like the one we've got there, that we're not going to be able to compare like with like. What we need is a specification for what.
That's
we
what
need.
we'll get. That's what Ryan's getting. That's why it's taken so long. We
Yeah,
would,
well, that is the proper way to do
yeah,
it.
so we,
So they're all,
and actually that, because it's 35,000, we'll probably go to tender.
yeah, it has to. doesn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I would go to tender for the cemetery roads.
Do we need to vote on each one?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
could you vote if you're in favour?
Yeah.
And that will be a tender process.
It needs doing.
Okay, so the next one is the cemetery value at 3,380.
Yeah.
Are we happy with that?
There's no question of security, is there?
People's left one.
Yeah.
Now,
Of course it is.
the storage unit, we've got two options here, haven't we? We've either got the well-used container at 1,700 or a once-used containers, the China ones, for 2,500.
What's the difference? Lindsay?
Sorry, less.
It's not be used.
I'd say what the difference is that one has been well used but still watertight. The
Yeah.
other one's only had one journey
Yeah.
from China
Back.
once, yeah.
I think we should go for the
My
one.
question is, will we have to paint the container when we get it?
We don't know. I think we can choose. I mean, we need to look into it a little bit more because we still got to make sure we can actually get it in. But then the boys are thinking that they could do some screening. Obviously, it's in the cemetery. It's got to look tidy. So there would be some screening to go around there. But we could. They said that they could paint that. I think we could get that painted.
And it includes a craneage to get it.
Yeah, that it said putting it in place. Yeah,
Weights and stones.
I mean, I would be in favour of the second-hand one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
If you've got to paint it or screen it.
Paint it,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
yeah.
With it just a safeguard, sometimes the roofs start to leak.
Yeah.
The older ones,
So-
we have to be sure.
We might, it might be a little bit, we'd have to get them out to come and have a look, because they won't look until you've made this sort of decision. I mean, they might say, actually, it'll be another £100 because we've got to put this on the road, that could be a little bit over that.
And I was going to ask, is there a site chosen for it?
Yes, so it's where the workshop is at the moment,
Right,
because we can't put it anywhere else, because it's got to come over the hedge.
yeah. And there aren't any issues with it being in the grounds of a listed building?
No, because it's no, I think what we've got there is not very nice
Very
anyway. But we will double check that, but it's our land
Yeah.
and it's not a permanent structure, so it's temporary, so.
So as long as it's fit for purpose, we don't care which one it is. We just would need to approve the print of installed.
Would we need to have a PC somewhere load for putting that onto the electricity supply? Because if we've got equipment in there that needs recharging or whatever, we would
We've
need to have a cross play.
Yeah, that's already there,
Yeah.
so that would be, yeah, we can get that connected.
Brilliant. Right, okay, then, so we're happy to vote on that?
Yep.
The storage unit.
Can I just, before we move on to that, there was another purpose in buying this storage unit because we're tying up the cemetery chapel as a storeroom at the moment. That little room is too valuable to be used as a shed, basically. We've got to find a reason or a purpose for it, but I think it should be something a little bit better than what's being used for.
Yeah, but there are lots of groups,
Yeah,
realty groups and stuff, and that would be desperate.
Once we got it cleared.
We could offer it. Okay, so, the ride-on mower, 11,000.
Is that replacing
What did
another?
we s-
No, what's that?
What did we say about that? Well, that's, so we've got two at the moment, but they're one of
They weren't big enough, were they?
they're basically domestic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're not ride-on.
no. Well, but it is, but it's a domestic garden one, not a commercial.
Because we were talking about this in assets as well, weren't we?
You were, yeah.
Ago, so. John,
But what, we've got a contractor who does grass cut.
We do, he does do a lot, but we also we have to do the cemetery, we do Orford Road, we do the we do quite a lot. We do the chapel, we do
The
certain.
guy does mainly the highway stuff.
So this is for us, we do all the smaller bits that we have to do,
There
yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah.
Bob will know more than.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
I was shocked by the amount they have to do.
Mm.
so this would make better use of their time, wouldn't it? They be
As
quick.
long as they don't go around cutting the grass.
Have we got
Go
a sort of
Road.
an idea of how long its expected lifetime?
I think the ones we've had so far are about 10 years old. But if you want me to get more information on that, I can bring that one back.
Because that's something more they'll be looking to bring into use next spring.
So maybe.
So we have a
in
little
spring,
time
just
for that
maybe
one,
we can
yeah.
refer that one as well. Yeah. Refer and I'll get more information for that.
Right, now the glutton, 19,250.
Yeah.
second it.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a proviso, we've got this, the revenue, but not the costs now.
This is the next one.
This is just the
That's
gut.
the next one.
Who's going to use the club? Who's going to work it?
You, Bob,
Yeah, I'll
you
do it.
You
I'll
go
do
if you
it.
want.
I'll do the gun.
Right, the next one is not capital, is it? So
No,
no.
no, so it's revenue. So what do you want? So if we have the glutton, do you want to, sorry. Len?
Yeah, I was going to say, could we know on the next precept what the new tax base will be, and and how much extra we're likely to get with the same increase, or a small increase,
Mhm.
so we can see what sort of extra money could be available.
So we could, your staff member and your caretaker, you could talk about your finance meeting in January.
Yeah.
We could then go away, talk to the
Yeah.
boys, see how many hours we could do and work out a contract for 2 new staff members that could then come to finance
Rather than-
on a part-time basis and a job share.
Yeah.
So we've got to hold off the capital expenditure until we've got that in the budget for next year. Because there's no point in buying that, and then it's decided not to employ these people. We need to to that.
But they can use it in the meantime, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, we can't.
We've already agreed to actually purchase it.
And actually, it might be good for them to use to
Well,
know how long.
I
it
don't
takes.
think we should purchase it unless we agree to the
We have agreed
operatives.
to purchase it, so
There's no point, is there?
let's get a bit more information about funding of the staff member. Okay. Any other questions on that? Right, so to consider applying the funding to install 2 bus shelters on Norwich Road, so. So that's a local company, is it Westitech?
Yes, I've got the quotes that you've all seen. I just it's at 80% funding that's going through at the moment. I've engaged with bus company and highways, and they're all very happy with that. So I just need to put the funding in for that, and it would be 20%.
That's, yeah. So,
That can be capital Carter.
Yes.
It's cycle friendly. Don't.
yeah, because you cycle there and then go on the bus. You do?
Yeah.
Right, Les.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to mention the responsibility for maintenance in the
Yes.
future.
Because that's us, isn't it?
Yeah, which I don't think is owned. I never
No.
did think it was.
Yes, it's vandalised and then it will be.
But that would be come under insurance? Would it?
Yeah.
We'd add that to our assets. Yeah, yeah, we'd have to
Yeah.
add that to our assets.
Leanne, don't bother. It's the stand.
It's the project.
A chap will see us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll-
It's like we just.
Really, the picture you have to meet and buy it funded.
Right, so are we, let's just, hang on a minute. Have we got that sorted out? Yeah, so are we happy to vote for Helen to pursue with this, this issue of 2 bus shelters on Norwich Road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is part of our new town code.
Well, they
Township, isn't it?
in the rain, don't they?
Yeah.
So I mean, it is terrible.
Because Bob can take that machine up there and clean.
Yeah.
As we get it.
Okay, so the next one, 175, is to consider response to regulation 18 consultation as referred from planning committee. So this is Les's, okay?
Yeah. Hopefully everyone's seen the wording.
Yeah.
Trying to find. And I'm looking for your approval for that to be sent off. But I also would like to resend, as I said earlier, because essentially what we responded to before was a call for sites. So all of the sites that we put forward to, we did a response to it, which they hadn't published on there because they went in late. So I would, what we've now got, we're responding to, is the preferred sites taken out of that call for sites. But there's also a list of alternative sites, which is basically most of the rest of the sites that aren't in the preferred ones. And I want to send off our original response to those again, so they go on there. I also want to send a couple of general comments, like we've spoken tonight about sport and leisure, pointing out that they haven't taken that into account, and also a general one on the relief road, although we have mentioned that in the response. I'd like to do a general response. So the more stuff we've got in the response, the better, I think.
I mean, it's all got an impact on that pinch point, hasn't it?
Yeah.
At Mangate Street, Norwich Road. I can't see how they're going to resolve that, to be honest.
Well, and I think we need to having spoken to the officer I think we need to put everything in there, rather than not.
Yeah.
And
See,
So important.
I'm quite happy with all Les said, but one of my big things, as you know, is this solar thing, and I think we've got to come up as a town stronger against this, because we're imminent at getting the actual application coming through for that, aren't we, Les?
yeah,
And we're getting very close now. All the other towns have been doing things against them, and I'm 199% against it. You know, and what it's going to do to this town for years and years to come. And I think we need to push Bretland within this report, because they have asked within their call for sites for renewable energy sites. Now, I think that should never happen. I've had a go at certain people already about this, and I think we need to be really strong as a council against these solar farms right on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And most people are fighting like mad, and some have got groups up, some have got placards out, they're putting things around. I did the CPRE demonstration that was at Dereham, you know, I told you about that, and they're really, and the amount of people that went to that is phenomenal, really. You know, I think as a town, we need to be pushing, so they don't say, oh, we won't do it in home power, but we'll put more in Swaffham if we're not careful. And I think we've got to really push against it as hard and as fast as we possibly
What
can.
would you suggest we do then, Paul?
I don't know. I think we need to really make our voices known and start putting some sort of demonstration on out there for people. And I don't know, maybe it's something we need to question the people in the town about. Do they really want these for 40 to 60 years in the future? I won't be around. Half of us won't be around, but you know, do we really want these things on our doorstep for that amount of time? It's going to be when you go up the 1065 towards the coast, all you see on each side of the road, solar panels. Now, do we really want that for people visiting our town? We call ourselves a tourist area, and I think that would look worse than what Bob's Rubbish will look.
So does that have a place within this response?
Well, I think it should be within that response. You know, our objection to it.
I think our response is for the, well, it is, I was going to say for the Swaffham, our Swaffham development plan, but I mean the whole of the Reg 18, it's for the whole of Bretland. So we're, as well as making, everyone can make a personal response to it. So I mean, I'm quite happy to add that in with the sport and leisure, you know, the general comments.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah, I think it don't want to go in, but also this town needs to get its act together and start pressing against it, because otherwise we're going to be left behind. All the other villages are putting up banners, are pushing against these solar farms, and we're sitting here doing nothing.
Did do a public consultation.
That did, yes, but that's as far as it went. But a lot of people have moved on a hell of a lot since then, Leanne.
Yeah.
You know, and
Anyway, yeah.
but sorry, I'll keep on about it, but it really is one of the things that I think is going to really hit this town if we don't do something about it.
Paul, I'd like to ask you, are they putting up posters and that kind
Yes,
of thing?
posters,
Maybe we
banners,
should think
all
about
sorts
getting
of
some
things.
posters.
Lobbying their MPs
Well,
and that sort of
let's
thing.
get some
You need to
posters
get, I
around.
think you need to get public opinion as well,
Yeah.
because not everyone might agree with,
Yeah,
you
certainly
know,
don't, but
you can't just, you know,
Well,
you've
we
got
don't,
to get
but
public opinion.
this council did vote earlier on.
We're not doing anything at the moment.
So I think as Les said, I mean, individuals can make their own recommendations. to
Yeah, but
this.
that's not strong enough against this, Lindsay. It's not going to be strong.
This isn't really what-
These people have put walk all over you if we don't start pushing against it.
Can I add to that? If everyone's happy for me to, or for that response I've put together on here to be sent off, to the
Yes.
office to
Yes.
send it off, and I will send through the re-copy of the alternative sites, and I've put it together, numbering using the new numbers for the alternative sites, so that can go off. And I'll do some general comments as well to add to that. The other thing I wanted to say was on Monday, we've got a neighbourhood plan meeting, and the first thing on the item on the agenda is to discuss our responses to the local plan. And the next item is to look at a draft questions for a household survey for Swaffham. And that sounds to me like we've got several questions there, including about the solar question.
Yeah.
So I will mention that on that one. And just to brief everybody, on our meeting on Monday, as well as that site allocation work and the household survey, we're also looking at local green spaces, which was on my list. And I've been going through pulling out what's listed at the moment as a green space on the policies map, and looking at what we've got listed as local green spaces, which isn't the same thing. And the local green space gives a space protection, the planning policy protection, specific protection, whereas an open space is like a designation. And we have the capability in our neighbourhood plan to put our own list. And when we did it before, we basically looked for what was missing on the Brexham one and so on. I'm now going through that to make sure that we've got everything on there, which include, there's quite a few little spaces that aren't listed. So, yeah. And we've also got, we're looking at non-designated heritage assets to add to that, and also the character appraisal for the town. And the other thing that we talked about was the design code, and I've asked Rachel, who's organising it, whether the design code that's going to be worked on, it's going to be worked on, isn't it, Judy, next year? Or
Yeah, it's work in
it's in hand, yeah.
work in progress.
Yeah. So I have asked her the question, can we leave that, what comes out of that, as our design code for our neighbourhood plan, or do we have to do something else? So I've asked that question.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Thanks for that work. Oh, John, did you want to say something?
Vote for. Yeah. Second with two.
Yeah.
Happy. You're
So is everybody happy to send this off? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
The next one is to consider a donation to Swaffham farmers for the disposal of real Christmas trees, with proceeds going to the Priscilla Aiken Hospice. And I think
They approached us, these were the young farmers who brought the tractors to the Christmas event, and they approached us and said they could get rid of any real Christmas trees. And all they asked for was a donation, so are we happy to give them?
Yeah.
How much would you like to give?
it's really, yes.
Question.
What do you want? About 50 quid?
I was thinking 15, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Yeah. How are they going to work this? Sorry.
Out of interest, how much would it have cost us to have it taken away anyway?
The quote from Elvedon was 2,750, and that was including delivery, putting it up, taking it down. Yeah.
Is this the town council Christmas tree?
Yeah, all the four of them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with everyone's Christmas trees. How we get rid of those?
Nice.
Used to put it
I saw that one of the local charities doing it as well, weren't they? They were offering to.
chuck it in the woods.
Right, okay, so the next one, I'm going to move it because it was put below the line, but it doesn't need to be below the line. So to elect a councillor to the planning committee following the resignation of councillor Skinner. So does anybody want to start?
I'm not. How many? I think we're too short, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We are too short.
Oh, yeah.
But are we Cora?
Yeah, we're Cora, but
Yeah.
Anyone?
We're already there, Les. We've not got again.
So as long as we're four, no one's.
We'll just bring it up at each meeting and see if we can
Yeah.
generate.
Right, so those are not here, we'll put them down.
Right, okay, so
And it's not worse than you can.
well, 177 to review and adopt the town council policies and the confidentiality policy. There are no changes to this policy. So are people happy to receive this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you just put your hands up? Done.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right, finance. To receive receipts for November 2025. So has everybody looked at those? Any questions? Thank to be accepted.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Seats are always.
Sorry.
The seats are always there.
Indeed, you agree?
Yes, sorry, yeah. Just reading.
Right, to approve payments of accounts of December 2025. So is everybody please? Any questions? John?
No, I'm just. Ahead of you, Dan.
Oh, right. Is everybody happy to approve? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello? Sorry.
Yes. I'm just doing that, you can.
And to approve bank reconciliation up to date of the.
Well, I'm glad to see that the, all our money is being farmed out.
Yes, it
And
is
it's
now.
earning good interest, I heard.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I
Good.
think so. Yeah.
Right, so is everybody happy to approve the bank reconciliation? Yeah. Right. So that's the end of this part of the meeting. So thank you to the public attending and to our district councillors. So we're now going to go.
I'm just, I asked Sue to stay for 5 minutes in case you've got any questions for her. And then she'll leave when we talk about the lease and so.
It's putting tea on the wires. No, it's putting tea on.
Yeah, I made lasagna this afternoon.
Oh, yes.
So I like I don't like the dry pasta sheets. I like fresh pasta sheets. So I make it all in. So I've done all that.
Yeah.
So I've made it in the oven outside. Put it on our message. Yeah.
Oh, is that? Where's
just go and do it anyway. You got to sit there and waste my time.
Maybe want to take all that stuff over. Here you go.
No, I'm not taking it with you.
Grab a paper.
Yeah.
I'll see you again. I'm gonna have a free.
Yeah.
See you later.
What you losing your salary, that's you get up there.
Go back to January, so we bought the street. Use it, then it was like, employ someone to do caretaking with the money away.
Somebody I'm back on the first.
Proposals that they want someone to. I need 338. Like the shoes or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
We can use that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah. Not bad.
Something that we need.
I can just say,
We can have
Yeah.
it, like,
how did you get me a quote?
All that.
I got a
Older.
funding. It's very good
Oh,
funding.
yeah, I don't know.
£11,000. I got a 98. I'm showing them doing a bell on Saturday. But yeah, that's what.
Yeah, we can turn this into a cinema.
So you got 90 John Johnson on the wall.
You still use all the connections.
Yeah, it's that, it's not that, it's that thing.
More income. Might be able to afford some, are we talking about that when June next year?
Yeah. Oh, I can.
Monday, next Monday. Yes, that's it. Yes. Yeah. We're not meeting.
Well, it's always interesting.
Yeah, right. That's really nice. Yeah.
We.
Yeah. I've not been, I was objecting to.
I know what you,
But there's no point in.
yeah, I know what you mean. That's what I said. We're gonna have it.
Then
Yeah.
But we'll use it.
It'll go.
We'll have to take it once a week.
Oh, well, get the brain. It's great.
Right, I've got ready.
Given a load more responsibility.
Yeah.
Just mind you don't.
Yeah, we need something on the, we need something on the plan.
Yeah.
You second that.
Okay, so since here, we're here to consider renewal of the lease and service level agreement for Swaffham Museums. Sylvia here to answer any questions. Do you have a set about it?
Well, all I really need to say, we've had the lease now since the earliest I can find is 2002. Probably before that time. And it comes up every. And at the moment also, we are going through accreditation, which means we are looking at absolutely every single document, policy, procedure that we've got. We should have gone through this every 3 to 5 years. It's been 10 years now. And in that time, there are only 2 of us. This is still at the museum. One is one of our curatorial staff and the other is me. And I've also just changed a